chameleon, any creature that goes upon the belly, on all four style of locomotion, or on any great number of feet. 11. 29, 30, 42 animal that died of itself or was already dead or torn by wild beast. 17. 15, 16. 14. 21. X 22. 31 animals presented as vow or voluntary offerings. Communion sacrifice could be eaten on day offered and on second but not on third day. Penalty for violation, death. Thanksgiving sacrifice to be eaten on that day. None to be saved over until morning second day. Passover must not be left over. What was not eaten was to be burned. 7. 16-18. 19. 5-8. 22. 29, 30. X 12. 10 things causing uncleanness. Emission of semen. Person had to bathe and was unclean until evening. 15. 16. 23. 10, 11 garment touched by semen was washed and was unclean until evening. 15. 17 husband and wife, after having intercourse, had to bathe and were unclean until evening. 15. 18 childbirth woman was unclean 7 days after bearing a male, plus 33 days first 7 days, unclean to all, as in menstruation. 33 days unclean only in relation to touching holy things such as sacrificial meals or coming into the holy place. 12. 2-4 If child was female, woman unclean 14 days, plus 66. 12. 5 woman's menstruation. 12. 2 woman unclean 7 days in regular menstruation. During entire period of abnormal or extended discharge of blood, plus 7 days. 15. 19, 25, 28 During otextoi acute urethra longo, person was quarantined 7 days and then examined. If plague had stopped, quarantine 7 more days. 13. 4, 5, 21, 26. If plague did not spread then, he was pronounced clean. 13. 6. If plague spread, it was leprosy. 13. 7, 8 If leprous, person had to have garments torn, let his head become ungroomed, cover over mustache or upper lip, call out unclean, unclean. Dwelt isolated outside camp until plague cured. 13. 45, 46. New 5. 2-4 Genital discharge evidently due to diseased condition. 15. 2, 3 Bed or articles that such a person would sit or lie on were unclean. 15. For anyone who touched the affected person, his bed, or whatever he was sitting on was unclean, or if affected person spat on another, he was rendered unclean. 15. 5-11 If touched by one having running discharge, earthenware vessels were smashed, wooden one was rinsed with water. 15. 12 After discharge stopped, person was unclean 7 days. 15. 13 Cleanliness of military camp was safeguarded by requiring that excrement be deposited outside the camp and be covered over. 23. 12, 13 Regulations concerning bodies of dead persons touching corpse, bone, or burial place of human made one unclean 7 days even when on open field. New 19. 11, 16 Death for refusing to purify self. New 19. 12, 13 See cleansing procedure at New 19. 17-19 All who were in or came into tent containing dead person were unclean as was any opened vessel there on which no lid was tied down. New 19. 14, 15 Regulations concerning bodies of dead animals. The body of a clean animal that died of itself made the one who carried it, touched it, or ate it unclean. The dead body of any unclean animal made the one who touched it unclean. Cleansing was required. 11. 8, 11, 24-31, 36, 39, 40. 17. 15, 16 Bodies of unclean animals would make items such as vessels, jar stands, ovens, garments, skins, and sackcloth unclean by contact. 11. 32-35 Spoil taken from city. Everything that could be processed with fire had to be so processed metals, then purified by water for cleansing. Other things had to be washed. New 31. 20, 22, 23 Other obligations involving fellow creatures. The law specified that you must love your fellow as yourself. 19. 18. Jesus indicated that it was the second greatest commandment in the law. Mount 22. 37-40 Towards fellow Israelites love was to be shown. Murder was forbidden. X20. 13. Row 13. 9. 10 Must not take vengeance or hold a grudge against one's fellow man. 19. 18 Care for the poor. X23. 6. 25. 35. 39-43 Care for widows and orphans. X22. 22-24. 24. 17-21. 27. 19 Respect for property. Stealing was forbidden. Compensation was required. X20. 15. 22. 1-4. 7 Wrongful desire for property and possessions belonging to one's fellow man was forbidden. X20. 17 Consideration for the handicapped. Could not ridicule or call down evil upon deaf person. He could not defend himself against statements. He could not